We are starting lectures for the Senior III Islamiyat from the life in Medina of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. We have covered a number of topics of the first year and the second year of the Hijrat. Here we are going to have a quick review of these topics, and then we are going to start with the third year of Hijrat from the lecture number 2. In the first year of the Hijrat, Holy Prophet constructed a mosque. He made arrangements for the inhabitants of the Medina. It means the relation between the Ansars and the Muhajireens and the treaty with the Jews. A major character that was highlighted in this period was the character of the hypocrites. After the construction of the Holy Prophet Mosque, it is declared as the second holy place after Kaaba. It was a center of the learning where a number of issues were solved, like political, social, economical, military headquarters for the new state, etc. People learned and practiced discipline, unity, and brotherhood from this center. It was built by the Holy Prophet himself, and the land bought from the 2 orphan kids. It was constructed with the unbaked bricks, which means the roof was of mud and palm leaves. Palm leaves trunks were also used for the pillars. A large platform also built with the mosque or next to the mosque that was known as the Sufa. It is particularly interested for those people who were not having families with them. It became a training center, a shelter for the poor Muslims, immigrants from the Makkah. The next thing that Holy Prophet did was the concept of the azan. In the earlier time, people used to pray without the azan, but after the construction of the mosque, Holy Prophet received a number of suggestions how to prepare or introduce this system. Hazrat Bilal was soon appointed to call the first azan on the Islamic Empire. Next was the arrangements of the inhabitants of the Medina. Since before the pledges of the Aqaba, that was particularly taken with the Holy Prophet, as the Madinah tribes, Aus and Khazraj, they were having a number of disputes among them. So Holy Prophet was invited to end those disputes. These 2 tribes were living in the Medina. They provided shelters to the Muslim migrants, and later these tribes of the Aus and Khazraj were known as the Ansars. Another arrangement that Holy Prophet did was with the tribes of the Jews. The 3 major tribes who were living inside the Medina, first one the Banu Nazir, Banu Qainuqa, and the Banu Qurayza. Treaties were made in order to live in the peace only. The first declared agreement or the treaty that was done with the Aus and the Khazraj is known in the history by the name of the Brotherhood. This is done just for the settlement of the Muhajirin. Medina Muslim belongs to the 2 categories, as we have discussed, Aus and the Khazraj. The Prophet instructed them to provide shelter for their homeless brothers and created a bond of the brotherhood between them. Still, it is categorized as the source of unity in the worldwide. Even the enmity between these 2 tribes of the Medina forgotten because of this relationship. The next, the treaty with the Jews. These tribes settled in the suburbs of the Medina in their fortresses. As Muslims were particularly threatened by the Quraysh, they had to create a supportive treaty and a base for the Muslims to adjust in the new Islamic Empire, which means that if anyone is going to attack the Muslims, they are going to support the Muslims. Soon, Holy Prophet invited all tribes to a joint agreement, which is known as the Charter of Medina or the Misaq-e-Medina. The main purpose was to secure the Medina with the sudden invasions and to make cooperation among the tribes. This treaty had a number of terms. For example, equal rights were given to the Jews. They had the liberty to practice their religion. Neither party would commit aggression against each other. Jews have to defend if they are attacked, and they have to live peacefully with the Muslims. The property and life safety was assured by the Holy Prophet himself for the Jews. Holy Prophet established the friendly relations, and this provided regulation and governance of the Medina was given to the Holy Prophet. They considered Holy Prophet also as the best judge, ruler, and the commander, and the Jews were allowed also to serve justice either from their courts with their laws or even from the courts of the Muslim as well, but the laws of the Jews will be followed. The next major group that was highlighted in this period was the hypocrites or the munafiqeen. The main definition of a munafiq or a hypocrite is a person who accepted submission before Allah, but with the intention to damage the base of Islam. Quran commands for them the lowest level of the hell. It means beneath the unbelievers. They are going in the lowest part of hell. Quran says, when it is said to them, come to what Allah has revealed, and to the messenger, those seize the hypocrites, avert their faces from thee and the disgust. To all their appearances, they became Muslims, like prayers, fasting, but deep in the heart, they had a strong hatred for the Prophet and his companions. They proved to be more dangerous than the unbelievers. So this is an overview for the hypocrites. The leader of the hypocrites was the Abdullah bin Ubay. Before the Prophet's migration, he was supposed to be crowned as the Medina's king, upon which he intrigued with the Quraysh several times and continued to have great influence among those who had intolerance and hatred for the spread of the Islam. He was able to know the Muslim secrets disclosed further among the Meccan tribes. He also built a mosque which later demolished by the Holy Prophet himself and burned. He used to hold meetings against the Prophet with his companions, and they planned against the Prophet. He is also highlighted at the time of the Uhud and the Battle of the Trench, which we are going to study inshallah, and also for the exile of the Jews. He died after the Tabuk expedition. After him, a number of hypocrites soon repent and turn to the true faith. During the second year of the Hijrat, commands regarding fasting, zakat, change of the Qibla, and the first Islamic war occurred, that was the Battle of Badr. Fasting and zakat. It was an obligatory action, of course, for the Meccans as well, or the Meccans Muslim, but its obligations was led in the second year of the Hijrah. It was also prescribed to the previous nations. It means it wasn't a new thing for the new Islamic empire, but it was the practice of the earlier people who had accepted the messengers of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Payment of zakat made compulsory and values also assigned in the second year of the Hijrah. The main objective was to provide support to the underprivileged ones from the rich inhabitants. Change of the Qibla was another major incident that took place in the second year of the Hijrah. It is mentioned in the Quran in the chapter number 2, we see the turning of your face for the guidance to the heavens. Now shall we turn to you to a Qibla that shall please you. Turn then your face in the direction of the sacred mosque. Soon after the migration, Holy Prophet realized that he is not actually facing the Kaaba, which was earlier in line with the mosque at the Jerusalem, that is the Beit al-Maqdis. Initially, when Muslims used to pray in the Mecca, they were actually praying in the same direction in which the mosque of the Jerusalem is designed. But after the migration, he realized that the Qibla's direction is at another point. So while leading the Asr congregational prayer, Holy Prophet changed his direction upon the commands of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and as he changed the direction, so his followers. Now, before we start the battles, we have to look at an overview that why these battles were happened and what is the concept of the battle. Prophet had to face three major oppositions after the migration. One, the pagans, yani Makkans; two, the group of the Jews who integrate with the Quraysh; and third, the group of the hypocrites. So these were the three major opponents of the Holy Prophet before the migration and after the migration. Soon he did not only develop the agreements and arrangements of the Muslim settlement, but also made a political, social, and economical boycott of the Quraysh in order to save the Medina. As the Quraysh used to carry their trade caravans outside the Medina, so the Holy Prophet himself ordered the commanders to protect the Medina. And as he had done the treaties with the Jews, so they were also obliged to follow the terms. Quraysh sent a word to the Madinite Muslims also after the migration that they must hand over Holy Prophet to the Quraysh and his companions as well. But the Madinite Muslims refused, and the political, social, and the economical boycott of the Quraysh continued. Now, the next major important thing we have to understand that there are a number of battles that led by the Holy Prophet, but there are also some battles which were done under the commands of the companions, but the instructions were given by the Holy Prophet. So the battles that in which Holy Prophet participated, it is usually termed as the Ghazwa or the battles simply, and the expeditions which led by the commands of the Holy Prophet with an army in which he himself did not participate, it is termed as Saraya. It is important to understand at this level because in the next topic when we are going to study about how the companions led the battle, then it will be termed as the Saraya, but mainly the battles. Prophet protected Medina in such a way that no Quraysh leader could enter its territory, and that was the major highlight of this battle overview. Now we are ending the lecture number 1. In the lecture number 2, we are going to start about the battles.